I am California of the past.
I am California of the past.
I
am California of the past.
Well, it all goes back to Alliance, Ohio days at the Carnegie Public Library, and I was there quite a few years. But the first few years, my favorite book salesman called on me, and he knew his children's books as no other uh, salesman did. And I did appreciate it, and I got acquainted with him over the years and got to know him real well. And well, anyway, this particular one, first time or second time that he called on me, he realized my book budget was very sparse. And so he said, I want to help you that you can buy the best. There are lots of these books you don't need to have, and I know you want the cream. So he would just put aside books that he thought I shouldn't spend my money on. And it helped because I didn't have long for his visit. So this particular time, he said, now today I have some books. I think it was the first two books of the Wilder books. And he said, promise me you'll read them. Now promise me. And he stressed it so. I thought, what's so important about these? And I took them home, and first night or two I just ate them up. I just liked them so well, and I became so enthusiastic, and I could hardly wait till he returned. And even with my meager budget, I ordered 2-3 copies of each one. And then I learned that others were in the writing process and be out in, I don't know, in the distant future. So I started pushing them, and I had such luck with them, with all kinds of people. I can remember a rural school teacher that still had a 7 or 8 room schoolhouse, and after she finished them years later, I remember how she came to me. She said, Miss Weber, what am I going to do? I've enjoyed these over the years, so I've never had a book that everybody in the school would enjoy. Always I'd have to have several going, but with this series, I could read them to the first grade right through the 7th or 8th, and they'd all listen. And so they were a big success with that group. Then there'd be the adults from the adult room would come down and want me to choose a book to read to their parents. Maybe their eyesight didn't allow them to read anymore, but they loved to hear stories, especially of their day. Well, what was more perfect than the Laura books? And so they were a big success with those adult people, whether they were being read to or still able to read themselves. And then the school children themselves and the teachers in the grades. And so I just had such success with them. And then over the years, as the others came out and we followed through, and I would order as many copies as I could afford, and they would be just as popular. And this went on, and finally, they would, different people, especially this rural school teacher, said, can't you tell me, or my children ask this question or that question? What can I give them the answers? The books aren't finished yet. What happened? Did Laura ever regain her sight? Or all the questions that you want to know when you're reading them until you get into the last books. Well, I didn't know the answers. Nobody did yet. So I said, well, I'll do my best to try and find out. And I sat down and wrote a letter to Laura, and didn't know her address, so I sent it to Harper & Brothers, the publishers, and they were kind enough to forward it to Laura. And it was from that letter that I had my first reply, and that letter I saved. And when I left Alliance to come out to California, I brought that letter with me, and it's in my file that I have there in the corridor.